Portland Metro health officials are recommending retirement communities and hospitals limit the number of people who visit their facilities. They say to contain the virus, only visitors who are healthy should be allowed in. Devin Haskins looked into how Portland care facilities have made changes to protect their residents. Devin?
Well, Laura, looking at different retirement communities, websites and social media pages, you'll see many have already begun those recommendations. One even went as far as not allowing any outside visitors for the last week, and that's since been lifted. At Touchmark in the West Hills, it's home to 300 residents. Staff constantly clean tables and any hand-touch services as usual, but have taken extra steps to keep everyone healthy. They've removed newspapers and magazines from the communal areas. In the dining room, salt and pepper shakers have been replaced with packets. They've even taken the menus and created one big one so you aren't sharing menus. They've asked residents if they don't feel well to stay in their room and not share the germs. Touchmark says that these practices have been in place since February 18th.
It's just a heightened awareness, constantly evaluating our practices. We have activities where people come from out of the building into Touchmark, and so we're evaluating each one of those as we go about it.
In Washington state, at least 8 deaths are linked to a nursing home, and more than 50 residents and staff are showing signs of the infection.